In today's video, we sort through a mystery box filled with 50 random issues of White Dwarf magazine, searching for lost arcane knowledge and possible hidden treasure. Well, hi folks, and welcome to the channel. I'm Lee, your old-hammered host. I'm here with Lynn, your other old-hammered host.
Hello.
And today we're looking through a blind box of 50 assorted issues of White Dwarf magazine, ranging from issue 50 up to issue 400. And I paid a whopping $45 for this, plus I got free shipping because I bought a few other things and hit that almighty free shipping threshold, which is very important, right?
Especially when you're sending magazines.
Right. As you can see from here, this box is heavy. It is extremely heavy because it's densely packed with old copies of White Dwarf. So what does a person want with 50 assorted copies of White Dwarf magazine? Well, we're looking for some hidden treasures. So for example, here's a couple of copies of White Dwarf that I purchased over the last few months. This one here, with Gorka Morka on the cover, has some nice inserts. I assume this is Gorka Morka terrain. This one here has a Warhammer Skirmish reference sheet in it. So if you ever want to play old games of Warhammer Skirmish and need an extra reference sheet, that's kind of handy to have. Though, of course, I guess you could photocopy it or just print out the PDF, but it's kind of fun to use the insert from the magazine. Now, the thing about this, though, White Dwarf reset its issue numbers at least a couple of times, as I understand it. So I'm assuming everything in this box is going to be pre-2014, because 2014 is when they went to their weekly 32-page format, like we see here. But then I guess in 2016, they went back to the monthly format. So I'm not sure if we're going to get anything after 2014. I'm assuming it's all going to be pre-2014. So like they said, issue 50 through issue 400, kind of a random assortment, and we don't even know if the inserts are going to be included. So we are looking for some special issues like issue 215, which has the full tilt Bretonnian jousting rules. We'd love to have that one. But frankly, we have no idea what we're going to get. We paid our $45, we got our free shipping because we bought some other stuff we didn't need, and then we gave the poor delivery guy a hernia, no doubt, dropping us off on the front steps. So now is the day we're going to dig into it. We're going to show you what we got, and if there's any kind of exciting issues, any rare issues, or some neat stuff in there, we'll take a closer look at that. So Lynn, are you ready for some unboxing?
Yes, I am. I love those blind boxes.
That's right. We never know what we're going to have in a blind box. And usually there's some disappointment there. There's actually a psychological term, I forget what it is, that says the anticipation of thinking what might be in the blind box is actually more fun than finding out what's in the blind box. But let's see, maybe there'll be a treasure or two in here to make it all worthwhile. We'll quickly rip everything open and then kind of spread them all out, and then we'll pick out the treasures. Now, like I said, there is no guarantee there's going to be any inserts in here, and I'm not even sure we're guaranteed to get no duplicates. But I guess we'll just see. We paid our money, and now is the big reveal. So issue 215 would be the one to have, if we can find it.
And if nothing else, the artwork is fun.
Yeah, that's exactly right. Even if there's no treasures in here, no super rare issues, it is a fun retrospective to be able to go back and look at the old artwork. And it's amazing, 25 years ago, how much things have changed. So it's a trip down memory lane, if nothing else. So here's one of the more recent ones, October 2014. So it looks like we have some newer ones in here as well. That's okay. That looks like an older one. That's a real old one. That is number 71.
It was only 95 cents.
95 pence. So let's take a minute here and kind of sort them numerically and then see what we have. And actually, these aren't totally random because here we have a streak, 173, 174, 175. Okay, we got them more or less organized, and fortunately, the folks at Noble Knight kind of sorted these into stacks by number, and so while they weren't every magazine in a sequence, they were kind of in numerical order according to era. So we are going to ignore these newer ones here. There's nothing wrong with them. We just kind of prefer the older ones. So this one here is the oldest magazine we had. This is from 1985. This is White Dwarf 71. And then the collection jumps from 71 to 123, but we did get at least one fairly old one. And this is back in the very early days of Games Workshop, so this would predate Rogue Trader by a couple of years, I guess. Though perhaps it was in the works at the time of publication here. Dungeons & Dragons, TSR, and Laserburn, which is considered to be sort of a spiritual predecessor to Warhammer 40k, so that's interesting. It's kind of like a little Wayback Machine here to the days before Rogue Trader. Trail of Loathsome Slime. So, that is White Dwarf, number 71. What's that on the back? Captain Britain, the Marvel Superheroes role-playing game. Obviously, we can't flip through all these issues page by page, so we'll try to show you a few highlights as we run across them. Here's White Dwarf 129 from September of 1990. Marauder Beastman Regiment. I actually have a few of these that have been converted into Imperial Rogue Trader Beastman. We'll show you those in a future video. Okay, some Warhammer 40k vehicle rules. It looks like some kind of a hit chart, so you can tell specifically where you hit your sentinel when you shot at it. Land Raider, Orc War Track. That's crazy. Space Orc Battle Wagon. So here we are in issue 136, which is April 1991. And this has instructions for making your own gob smasher from scratch, using paper towel rolls and such to make an orc battle wagon. That could be a fun project. Let's set that aside. I'm trying to speed through this pretty quickly, but there's all kinds of interesting things in here, like building an inn and stables for Warhammer Fantasy. You want to build your own inn and stable, Lynn?
Yeah, these could be fun to try building.
And they give you templates, which is handy. Issue 155 is supposed to give us a free Warhammer card building, but unfortunately the insert has been long removed, so very sad. Dig those crazy pastel colors in the High Elf Army. White Dwarf 156, that's December of 1992, gives us an article on Battle Masters, back when GW and Milton Bradley were collaborating on things. We did a Battle Masters unboxing video not too long ago. Yeah, the giant board game that you laid out on the living room floor and waited for your sister or your dad to step on one of the pointy miniatures. White Dwarf issue 162 from June 1993. And Lynn says, look at all those dwarves. Look at all those dwarves indeed.
I like me some dwarves.
Dwarven Army Units, Dwarf Thunderers, the Runesmith's Anvil of Doom. White Dwarf 163. And, yep, I wish I'd picked up a few more of these guys at the time. White Dwarf issue 171 with some amazing Eldar cover art. They should make a poster out of this one. White Dwarf 175, June 1994. Lynn says she wants one of these classic orc dreadnoughts. I don't have one of these. We have one of the first ones that came out for Rogue Trader, but I don't have one of these guys. But Lynn is enamored with the tiny orc hiding there inside the dreadnought. White Dwarf 208, and I was lamenting the lack of inserts so far, but this one has an insert. It's these Epic 40k cards, which isn't that useful right now given there's no Epic 40k going on, but the artwork is outstanding. Here's a big Epic 40k battle report, and the more I read about Epic 40k, the more I wish I'd gotten into it. Here's another copy of White Dwarf 240. We have a copy of this, and it's very handy because it includes a Mordheim reference sheet. And a copy of the Town Crier. There's Mordheim, City of the Damned. We actually have the Blood in the Streets terrain kit we still have to build. And some suggestions on how to use ice cream sticks and popsicle sticks to create Mordheim scatter terrain. So we'll have to give that a whirl at some point. Here's White Dwarf 257. That's June 2001. And they're definitely going for a different look here in this time period. Talking about Inquisitor. We have a copy of Inquisitor, but I haven't been able to decipher it yet. It's pretty thick and convoluted. And the miniatures are enormous. They're like 54 millimeter. But it has a very devoted fan base to this day, and I guess that's what you would expect from the Inquisition. Okay, and we're going to burn through the rest of these pretty quickly just to see if there's anything super special inside. This issue here, White Dwarf 262, is White Dwarf on one side and Lord of the Rings on the other. So really pushing the game to coincide with the Peter Jackson movies. White Dwarf 285, October 2003, and Lynn has decided she needs to build this giant scary tree for some reason. Yeah, that is creepy as all get out, but yeah, go nuts. All right, we're going to wrap things up with White Dwarf 329 from June 2007. So this was the 30th anniversary issue. And there's the legendary White Dwarf himself. And it includes something I've never seen before, this fortified manor here. Part of the Warhammer building set, and again, this is new to me. I've never seen this before. And they even built a battle report around it, the Battle for Black Skull Manor. I'm going to spend some time reading that. I love these old battle reports. All right, folks, I guess that's a wrap on our White Dwarf mystery unboxing. And like I said, I didn't get some of the treasures I was looking for, but there is a lot of interesting stuff in there, particularly the terrain building and some of the pictures of the old miniatures and the old battle reports. So I am not unhappy with our shipment of magazines here. We'll just have to make sure to flag the most important articles so they don't get lost in the stack. But Lynn, you have found yourself a few projects, more than a few to work on now.
Yes, some stuff to build.
That's stuff to build. The scary tree, the orc battle wagon. Yeah, just what we needed. Some more things to put on the to-do list, but that's all right. The weather's getting warmer, and so we'll be able to build more stuff outside here in another 4 to 6 weeks or so. So looking forward to that. Okay, folks, thanks as always for stopping by. We hope you enjoyed today's video and this kind of trip down Games Workshop memory lane. We'll be back shortly with some more tabletop wargaming goodness. But until then, thanks as always for stopping by, and we'll catch you next time.